Welcome back to this once-in-a-lifetime trip to the Galapagos Islands. This is the 13th video in our Galapagos Islands series. Today we hiked to the summit of a large cinder cone and had many questions for Dr. Purdom. Bartolomé is a volcanic islet just off the east coast of Santiago, or San Salvador, one of the younger islands in the Galapagos. Bartolomé is probably the most photographed place in the Galapagos. What a fantastic sight. We were able to observe the entire area of volcanoes and the surrounding islands, and had a surprise visitor on our exit. There was time for Dr. Purdom to answer many questions from our students and the letters they received.
Okay, so we are in Bartolomé Island. It's a central part of the archipelago. The Bartolomé Island is a volcano, so we can see some fumaroles, very old fumaroles that we have around here. We call parasite cones or spotted cones. And little lava tubes that come down from the higher area. They come by gravity, and we can see those tubes and those lava rivers that come in to the lower side. It's really interesting to see these also in other places like Santa Cruz with the big tunnels. It's the same thing, the same formation. Around here it's like a very small formation. Well, the national park, they do different projects. Actually, around here, they're working in different programs here in Galapagos. One of them is trying to eradicate and introduce animals. Actually, they did with goats and pigs in Santiago. But here in Bartolomé, they are working now in the eradication of rats, the black rats. We used to have a lot of rats around here, but they used a helicopter about 3 months ago. And we had a lot of these products. It's called Caldera, poisonous. That is like a soap, and actually it's very good. This island is with no rats anymore, but they monitoring all the time. So they did this program with Bartolomé, which is really very good because we have the endemic animals like lizards and like penguins on the coast. They actually nest under the rocks. And actually, it's a problem if we have rats around here. So probably this island is free of rats now, but they're still working in that, Okay, so we are in Bartolomé Island. It's a central part of the archipelago. And actually, we can see how new is the island with those beautiful cones around here. Those are spotted cones or parasite cones. And actually, where we're looking now is to the east part of the Galapagos, where we have the old area. So the old area around here, we have some of the actually islands like Seymour Island, Baltra, Daphne, Santa Cruz, one of the biggest in Galapagos. Is the second largest island. All that area is around the old area in the Galapagos. But where we are now is kind of new land. So is the last eruption around this place. It was only about 100 years ago, and actually this is Sullivan Bay, which is an incredible lava field that we were yesterday there. So all this lava is a new lava, Pahoehoe lava, and you can see the difference in colors. The new lava is really black. There's some James Island, and also you can see some old cinder cones around here. So this is different color, a little red, because of oxidation. And one of the most active islands on the pass. So there's also the island that Darwin visited one day. So it's really important for all the Galapagos, and it's part of the new area. Okay, we have the volcano. Actually, this volcano is in Santiago. That all the shale volcano, all the lava that you can see that came out was a really big eruption in that time. So 3 months the lava flow, and all the lava came from that shale volcano. So it's not like the other places that we have a pointed volcano, like in on the mainland, but around here is very simple. But it's very powerful, like as you see, all the lava that come from that volcano. Some little islands we can see right there, with a Chinese hot volcano and all those Brandwich Islands. We're going to pass around there, but those islands are different formation. It's a tuff material like the Pinnacle Rock and Bartolomé. Really, really nice to see in one of the volcanoes there, the Flamingos. So Bartolomé Island, with the famous pinnacle that we have around here, is a kind of very interesting formation. It's just a tuff cone. It's just volcanic ash, is very compact that we have. And the Galapagos, places like Daphne, like this area here, like the pinnacle. In the future, we're going to lose that pinnacle because it's very easy for the water and the wind to destroy that. So in the future, it's going to fall off into the water. Green vegetation in the middle is a mangrove, because we have water over there. So we have a red mangrove and a white mangrove inside that area. So this looks green.
Dr. Purdom, we've received another letter from a very curious student asking, what makes the blue-footed boobies' feet blue?
Well, the simple answer is that it comes from the food that they eat.
They also want to know, why is it that their feet are blue?
Well, it actually serves as a sexual signal to the females that the healthier they are, the more food that they eat, the bluer their feet. And so it helps the females be able to select males that are healthy so that they will have healthy offspring and be able to help take care of the offspring.
We climbed 374 steps to the top of the cinder cone and looked out over numerous tuff cone and cinder cone volcanoes. The science team had time to reflect, ask Jaime many questions, and enjoy the beautiful sights.
Tell them on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Cheese! Now in Spanish. 1, 2, 3.
The steps made climbing down much easier for all of us. The entire team carefully descended, sometimes using both hands on the railing, since the wind was strong, gusty, and the steps were very steep.
Y'all go. Everybody go. I want to be. Me too. You too. Okay, everybody. Yeah. Oh, there's one.
If you didn't think the steps were steep, well, take a look at them from this angle. And here's where our surprise visitor joined us. Look! Suddenly, a young Galápagos Hawk appeared, perched on top of a rocky outcrop. Zooming in, trying to get a closer look while staying focused, the hawk unexpectedly took off and glided toward us. Looking through the camera and unable to hold on to anything, Kevin prevented me from falling down the stairs by holding onto one of my legs.
I'm gonna pull my legs. Yes, sir. I'll hold them still, thank you.
I had a close encounter with a Galapagos hawk on a previous island. This one wasn't going to chase me away. The hawk made several passes at us and almost landed on Kevin's hat. That's when I lost my orientation and balance and had to lie down on my back.
It's all right, I'm filming. Everything for the shot, you know? Oh! You mean land? That's what I'm saying. No, you're fine. You may land on it, right?
The Lord had blessed us with the presence of the Galapagos hawk. But Kevin wasn't too sure about why I thought it was so special. Said the hawk was trying to land on him.
Just rolling. In case it comes back. One more try. If it does good, if not, I'm gone. Let me know when you see him. Speak to me, Kevin. What are we watching up there? I'm on my back on these steps.
We're hoping our friendly Galapagos Hawk comes by. I'm sure if you see it's going to flying around here. Just posing for the camera.
Trying to land on us, I think.
I'm scared. And some sharp talons.
You see him?
He glided near Jaime, landed briefly, and then took off. It was a God moment for all of us.
Yes. Call him, Jaime.
Now, back to the galaxy to take a break.
Dr. Purdom, we have a question here from our friend Lily asking, what makes the Galapagos penguins so special?
Well, the Galapagos penguins are the only penguins known to live north of the equator, and the reason that they can do that is because of the cold water that wells up in this area and brings a lot of nutrients and food to the surface.
We got a letter from Mary Catherine, and she wants to know, do we ever witness the marine iguana and the land iguanas mating?
Actually, we do, where they exist on the same island. Sometimes they will come together and form what is called a hybrid iguana, because it's a mixture of both the parents. And the hybrid iguanas have even been observed to climb the prickly pear because they have very sharp claws like the marine iguana and are able to eat it. So it's kind of a neat feature that they have.
Dr. Purdom, we have a letter from Reeves here, and he wants to know, why is it that we don't see any amphibians on the Galapagos Islands?
Well, amphibians require fresh water, and so there's no way that they can make the journey here to the Galapagos Islands.
Mallory has sent in a letter asking us, where do the baby albatrosses go after fledging?
Well, the baby waved albatrosses will actually fly out with their parents out to the ocean where they will feed, and the albatrosses have a very large wingspan. So after several months at sea, they will actually land in the water and they'll float back with the ocean waves because they have to take off from cliffs in order to be able to get the height they need to fly. And after several years, the albatrosses will come, once they reach the breeding age, will come back to the same place that their parents nested and then will reproduce and breed. So Kevin, I have a question. We've seen both the Galapagos fur seal and the Galapagos sea lion. What are some of the differences between them?
Well, there's actually several differences. The sea lion is actually a bit bigger than the fur seal, but the fur seal also has larger eyes, thicker fur, and a shorter snout.
And they have bigger ears.
Good.
Caitlin has sent in a letter asking, why do the flightless cormorants have wings if they can't fly?
Well, probably at one time they did fly. All other cormorants do fly. And so when these cormorants came to the islands, though, the major food source is in the water here. We know there's not a lot of vegetation. And so over time, they have just lost the ability to fly. And as a result of that, their wings have gotten smaller and they can't fly anymore.
Michael sent us in a letter, and he wants to know, why is it that the male sea lions are so aggressive?
Well, the male sea lions are aggressive because they're trying to defend their territory. They have a lot of females on the beach along with the pups, and so they're trying to defend those and make sure that they're not taken over by any other male sea lions.
We have a letter from Lily asking, are the penguins and the cormorant both flightless for the same reason?
Well, actually, I can answer that one. You see, the penguin has fused bones in its wings, so it can't actually fly. But the cormorant used to be able to fly, and over time, it's just lost those muscles and feathers it needs to fly.
We have a letter here from B asking, why do the Nazca boobies not have enough food for both of their chicks?
Well, the Nazca boobies actually have to fly out a lot further to find food than the blue-footed boobies, so there's just not as much food available for the chicks that they have.
I've heard that it was the older chick that always survives. Why is this?
Well, the older chick actually produces more androgen, which is a hormone that makes it more aggressive, and so then it's able to kill the younger chick.
We have a letter from Haley, and she wants to know, why did the pirates take the tortoises out on the ships with them?
Well, the reason they did that is because they were a great source of fresh meat. They're very large, obviously, and the tortoises can live for many months without food or water. And the reason for that is because they're able to break down the fats in their body into oils that they utilize for both food and water.
We have a letter sent in from Margaret here asking, why are the frigate birds also known as the man-of-war bird?
Well, the frigate birds are really fun to watch because they're actually considered klepto-parasitic. They will come down and try to steal the food from things like blue-footed boobies or other birds so they don't have to hunt themselves.
Dr. Purdom, we have a letter from Emily, and she wants to know, if the adult Galapagos giant tortoises don't have any natural predators, why did some of them become extinct and why are some close to extinction?
Well, the baby tortoises actually do have predators, such as birds and other animals that eat them. But the adult ones, the reasons that they're endangered and becoming extinct is because of people. Especially back in the 1700s and 1800s when the pirates and buccaneers came to the islands. Of course, we talked about them taking them for food, and they have just totally devastated the populations on some of these islands. And so that's why it's really important with a lot of the conservation efforts by the National Park here and the Charles Darwin Research Station to be able to repopulate some of these islands with the tortoises again.
Mary has sent in a letter asking why the blue-footed boobies dive at such high speeds.
Well, they dive at about 60 miles per hour into the water, and they need to dive deep enough to be able to come up under their prey and then be able to eat them.
Elizabeth sent us a letter, and she wants to know, how is it that a swallowtail gull sees its food at night?
Well, it's believed that the swallowtail gull is actually able to use the bioluminescence of many organisms, sea organisms, to be able to catch their prey. It's also believed that the red eye ring that they have is actually able to help them see better at night so that they can actually see their prey and be able to capture it.
Oh, there's some. There's the flamingos, guys.
I can see them.
Lots of them.
we'll get a still frame of this. We'll count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I counted 28 real quick.
Well, I have up to 48 really. Yeah,
I was in that one population over there.
there's probably about 50 or more, or
There's a bunch of them walking. Bunch of them. It's a herd.
a candle?
Thank you. Good. Who's the leader? All right. Thank you. Beautiful. Captain did a very good job.
We have a letter here from Matthew, and he's wondering, why do the Galápagos Hawk females mate with multiple males?
I actually can answer that one. You see, that process is called cooperative polyandry, and it's where the female will mate up with up to 4 males. And the reason they do this is because it increases the chance of survival for the chicks after they hatch, because they'll now have 4 males feeding them and 4 males protecting them in a pretty harsh environment where food and resources are scarce. We have a letter from Jason, and he wants to know, why is it that the Galapagos dove and mockingbirds walk around so much as opposed to flying?
Well, here on the islands, they really don't have a lot of natural predators, so they don't have to worry about flying around. They can just walk on the ground.
Now I have a question. Why are they always walking around sticking their heads up like so?
That I don't know.
So we've seen a lot of sandalwood trees on the various islands, and although they look dead, they're actually alive. Can you explain that a little bit?
Well, right now the Galápagos Islands are in what is known as the dry season. And so all the sandalwoods that we have seen are losing their leaves so that they can retain the moisture that they've already collected. And underneath a very thin layer of bark that they have, you can see that it's very, very, very green.
Oh, okay, so they can still photosynthesize then.
Exactly.
This letter's from Tyler, and he wants to know, why is it that the land iguana is so much bigger than the marine iguana?
Well, that has to do with the ability to obtain food. So the marine iguanas have a hard time of doing that because they have to dive in the ocean in order to be able to get it, whereas the land iguanas, it's readily available on the islands that they live.
We have a letter from Chris here, and he's wondering, why are the land iguanas different colors than the marine iguanas?
Well, as we talked about before, the marine iguanas have to dive in the ocean where it's very cold in order to get their food. And so they have to be that black color in order to be able to absorb the heat from the sun, whereas the land iguanas are able to obtain their food on land and don't need the black color to absorb the heat because they don't get as cold.
We have a letter from Jessica here, and she wants to know, where does all the extra water go that the pelican gathers when it scoops up a fish from the ocean?
Well, the pelican is able to actually filter the water out through its beak and just keep the sea creatures in.
Just to check it out, if the
Green turtle came in, dug the hole, and laid his eggs.
Sand elsewhere.